Are we almost there? It feels like we've been traveling for days. I want to go home.
GBC, I took the time to find this journal, meticulously follow its clues, to come out here, and I brought this shovel. Could you at least humor me for 5 more minutes?
Fine.
I'll just be blunt. I don't know why people like this game series. It honestly baffles me to no extent, and I know I'm already gonna get a lot of people clicking off for saying that. So, hello people who decided to hear me out. I have no nostalgia for this game at all. I first played it in January of 2017, and I couldn't believe what I was playing. I didn't have a PS3 growing up, and just from hearing people talk about these games, I expected a lot more. I know Uncharted 1 is the least favorite even to fans, but come on! This game is like a slow-moving train wreck. The worst part is, I played the Nathan Drake collection, so Uncharted 1 has the updated controls, and it was still a pain to get through. I couldn't even imagine trying to play this game on the PS3 when it came out. The story revolves around the treasure hunter Nathan Drake as he's looking for Francis Drake's treasure, Nate of course being a descendant of Francis Drake. The two other characters that join us are Elena, a journalist trying to get a big story out of this, and Sully, the character who is the epitome of too old for this shit. All of these characters are assholes. Legit, Nate is probably the biggest asshole, but that doesn't stop Elena and Sully from being unbearable most of the time. It's like they tried to make everyone snarky and charismatic, but completely shot past into asshole zone. When the game starts up, one of the first things that happens is Nate and Elena are attacked by pirates, and Nate, being the asshole he is, mentions how they can't call the authorities because they don't have a permit, makes a remark about how Elena would become a sex slave if caught by the pirates, and then proceeds to hand her a gun even though she's never used one before. But before this happens, they pull up the supposed coffin of Sir Francis Drake and pull out his journal. Elena, being the journalist she is, wants to film the journal, and Nate basically tells her that all he promised was a coffin. Two things. One, there is no fucking way that journal survived that long at the bottom of the ocean. And two, how many people has Nate used to get to this point? A lot apparently, because he doesn't even stop using people in this game series. But that's for another time, if I ever decide to cover Uncharted 2. Sully was the one character who I thought was at least decent, but he suggests to Nate that they just leave Elena on the pier as they drive off, and they fucking do it. Also, side note, what the fuck is this noise Elena makes? Ugh. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Oh, right, I almost forgot. So the driving force in the story is to find El Dorado, the city of gold. But we learn pretty quickly that it isn't a city, but actually...
a statue. A gold statue.
A huge gold statue.
And that it's long gone. Moving forward, they find a World War II German U-boat, because of course the Germans went here. Why do I always run into the weird glitches? So that happened. I don't even know how it happened. I couldn't replicate it again, and this is really the only time I've had a glitch with the game. I'm just forever cursed to encounter all of the weird glitches that no one else ever gets, it would seem. Jumping ahead a bit, we meet the... villain? I don't know, he seems on par with Nate to win Asshole of the Year award, but we controlled this asshole, so I suppose that means this asshole is the antagonist. From what he tells us, he also wants El Dorado because Sully has debts and decides he wants that statue. Also, because this is a very stable and well-thinking individual, he shoots Sully, the man who owes him money. No, Sully! You were such a well-developed character and had many great moments, like that time he rescued Nate and Elena, or that time he ditched Elena at the pier. Wait, why exactly do I care that he was killed? This happens like 40 minutes into the game, and honestly, the devs did nothing to try and make it have any impact. I guess because Nate is upset, this means we should be upset, but Somehow, Elena is here now. Even though that's never been explained how she followed them, but okay. Luckily, she has a Jeep, and there is no fucking way those leaves hid that Jeep. There are like 3 palm tree leaves on that thing. Right, this reminds me, the combat for this game isn't good. As you can see, it's a cover-based shooter, and that would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that Nate is stupid. Nate, can you just magnetize thine ass cheeks to the waist-high cover, please? Nate? Ooh! Well, I finally got attached to something, but now I can't escape because I keep attaching to other walls. Does Nate have magnets in his ass that are attracted to cover and decide to never let go? Demagnetize thine ass, Drake, please. Could you imagine just having a problem where your own butt doesn't want to get unstuck?
Who's that? Oh, that's Thompson. He has a magnet for an ass. Just keep your phone away from him, you'll be fine.
On top of that, all combat is done in arenas in which they throw waves of enemies at you. This is just bad from a design standpoint, as you immediately know when you're going to have an encounter. That, and on any difficulty besides easy, the game is an absolute nightmare of hiding behind cover, switching cover, and dying while switching cover. As I said at the beginning, I played the Nathan Drake collection, meaning Uncharted 1 has the updated controls, and Nate is still a pain to control. For whatever reason when turning, sometimes Nate will just do these wide half circles instead of just turning in that direction and going. One could argue this was done to make Nate seem more realistic, but I'd bring up the fact that humans can just sort of stop and change directions without having to do these big half circle turns. With the movement just generally being not very fun to do. The climbing is just as bad at times, and I know this was fixed in later installments, but climbing in certain areas is not as obvious as you'd think. More often than not, I'd just fall to my death because I'd do something I thought was the correct thing when climbing, but in fact was wrong. Also, just a little side note to the person who made these jet ski segments. I hate you. Moving ahead a bit, we eventually start getting closer to El Dorado, and somehow Elena is just teleporting around for plot convenience. How did she get there, considering we left her to go ahead, and she got there again really quickly? But whatever. You know, it's interesting how unfazed by all this murder Elena is. Any sane person would probably have said something by now.
Come on, we left those clowns in the dust ages ago. Oh my God! That's disgusting. Oh, I wish I had my camera.
Okay, never mind. Elena is perfect for Nate because she's a psychopath who enjoys the death, apparently. So, we learn that Sully is alive. Okay. And that he's been trying to lead the villain around in circles, buying Nate and Elena more time. However, it turns out that Sully sent them to a place that is right on top of where they need to go. Some shenanigans happen, and suddenly Wendigos are introduced literally out of nowhere. As it turns out, the golden statue is cursed, and it causes anyone to breathe in the dust from inside the statue, which is actually a coffin, to become a Wendigo. At least that's what I'm calling them. I'm pretty sure they're Wendigos, but the game never actually gives them a name, I don't think. At least no one says it. The reason why it was hidden so well was so no one could get to it, and all I can ask is, why? Why are there just Wendigos in this game? The entire time the game had been rather grounded, but then suddenly Wendigos just show up? There's an actual curse of some kind? I just don't understand the thought process here. I guess the beginning kind of hints at this with the last page, the journal being ripped out, but nothing truly foreshadows this enough to justify it being here. Oh, right. Also, the main antagonist just ends up breathing in the dust and being eaten by Wendigos. So this other guy that Nate knows from his past, who hates him I might add, becomes the final boss, if you can really call him that. And of course Nate and Elena can't just be happy that they survived this, they want some money. So in comes Sully with a boat and a couple crates of gold that he got, ending off the game. And I'd question this, but honestly, I just don't care and want to be done with this game. Well, Uncharted, I see now that I should never have dug you up from that hole, and that, in fact, it was a curse that I had found you. But don't worry. I'll take you back to the place in which you were buried all those years ago, so no one ever has to endure your curse. Or at the very least, not until I have to review Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. YouTube's been making it way harder for everybody to see my content, so please follow me on Twitter or join the GbcTyler Discord, which both of those links are in the description down below. These are the only real two ways of reliably knowing what and when I upload, and what I'm currently doing. If you enjoyed this video and haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Why not check out one of these fine videos that YouTube suggests to you? And as always everyone, I'm GbcTyler and I will see you all next time. Bye.